This hymn was a uniquely Wisconsin hymn, written by a pastor who was buried in Wisconsin and composed by a pastor who was born in Wisconsin. The hymn is Wonderful Peace. Through events that occurred at this very spot in 1889, the words of the music came together to the hymn that we now love. Reverend Warren Cornell was born in Michigan. At age 19, he went down to Texas, where he served in the public schools and preached in some of the churches. At age 23, he came up to Wisconsin, where he'd spend the next 40 years of his life. He served as a pastor in the Oshkosh area. 1889 saw him as the pastor of the Methodist Episcopal Church in Berlin, Wisconsin. Later, he would serve as an independent pastor in Fond du Lac, and that is also where he was buried. In the 19th century, camp meetings were an opportunity for churches to come together for singing and for fellowship, but primarily preaching the way of salvation, with the mourner's bench prominently at the front of the camp meeting. Reverend William Cooper was the pastor of the Methodist Episcopal Church of West Bend, Wisconsin. He'd later go on to pastor several Baptist churches, but in 1889, his church in West Bend held their annual camp meeting on this very location. From Wednesday night to Sunday night was when they'd have their annual meeting. According to the church historian, families would gather here at the farm of Francis Gasnell, a Prussian immigrant to America, who was later town chairman of West Bend. We're standing on the site of the original Francis Gasnell farm, where the camp meetings were held, although now it's called Bicentennial Park in West Bend. Reverend Cornell came down from Ripon as a guest speaker for the camp meeting. After preaching Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning, that afternoon he took off about a mile east of here, past the church, for the Milwaukee River, where he walked along the path of the river, thinking through what God had done during the past week. Many hymns come from personal tragedy, but others are written in times of great joy. Reverend Cornell was overwhelmed with such joy at this time in his life. He had just spent 5 days in camp meeting, times of testimonies, of praise, of psalm singing, times of eating with fellow believers, of fellowshipping, of preaching. His soul was so full of joy that as he walked along the banks of the Milwaukee River here, he grabbed for a sheet of paper and began writing some of the thoughts that were going through his head. How to express this joy that he felt. And not just joy, but peace. As he grabbed that sheet of paper, he began to write these words. Far away in the depths of my spirit tonight rolls a melody sweeter than psalm. In celestial strains, it unceasingly falls o'er my soul like an infinite calm. Peace, peace, wonderful peace, coming down from the Father above, sweep over my spirit forever, I pray, in fathomless billows of love. Reverend Cornell had written these words in the paper and stuck in his pocket and began walking back down the street over to the camp meeting, where they'd be for the evening service, surrounded by his Father's wonderful love. Back here at the campground, Reverend Cooper was cleaning up after the Sunday night service. The camp meeting was done. There was an exciting time. And as he's cleaning up, he saw a piece of paper on the ground. He picked up the piece of paper. On one side was an advertising flyer, but on the other sides were the words from Pastor Cornell talking about this wonderful peace. As he read the words, the music seemed to come to his mind to go along with it. So he went over to the organ and sat down at the organ and began to play. As he's playing, he's realizing that this promise of wonderful peace is not just for believers. This is an invitation for the unbeliever to come to Jesus, to know of that peace. As he sat down there, he picked up his pen and began to write the words of the last verse. Ah, soul, are you here without comfort and rest, marching down the rough pathway of time? Make Jesus your friend ere the shadows grow dark. Oh, accept this sweet peace so sublime. Peace, peace, wonderful peace, coming down from the Father above. Sweep over my spirit forever, I pray, in fathomless billows of love. Pastor Cooper took that hymn and with a friend of his published it 3 years later in 1892 in a songbook entitled Pearls of Paradise. This hymn has become known and beloved throughout the world as it talks about this wonderful peace that is found in Jesus.